Just to introduce myself quickly, I'm Derek Yu. I've been, building cloud and technology as a service companies, my whole career here in the Boston area. And currently I'm the CEO of a company called PureStake. We're a crypto infrastructure as a service company. So really, we focus on creating high quality infrastructure built, and we have a very close focus on the Algorand platform. And really, we want to make it super easy for developers and other teams to build upon Algorand and to build different applications that take advantage of the functionality that's on Algorand. So think of it kind of like a similar to what AWS does for base infrastructure. We're doing something similar for crypto and Algorand infrastructure, kind of making it very easy to access and consume the services that are on that platform. And so what I'll be showing you today, in the spirit of kind of showing some demos, is several of our services that provide that. So three in particular, that I'll be talking about are a node infrastructure as a service. So blockchains consists of a series of nodes. That's kind of the software manifestation of what a blockchain is. And so we provide those as a service. We provide a set of API services as well. And then we also have a set of tools for visually kind of understanding what's happening on the Algorand blockchain. So that's our GoalSeeker block explorer. So we'll be talking about those three applications and just showing you how you can use them. Before I do that, I'll just take a brief moment and just talk about kind of what's underneath those, because that's a little bit more difficult to show. So we obviously have spent quite a bit of time when you offer an infrastructure as a service. The key part of that is to make sure that it's secure and reliable, right? So if other people are going to be using your service, their application is only going to be as reliable as the underlying infrastructure. So we've done quite a bit of work here around automating, both the setup and the management of Algorand-based infrastructure using what's called an infrastructure as code approach. We deploy this infrastructure across all three major clouds. So that's AWS, Google, and Azure. And then we have a whole host of tools that we use to ensure that that infrastructure is performing well, running well, that it's secure. All of the things that go into running a high quality infrastructure. So that's it for slides. Let me jump over to some of the tools so you can get a sense for those. So what I'll start here is with the API services. So imagine that you're a developer, you want to work with the Algorand network. So Algorand itself, what you can do is there is kind of this node software, the client. You can download and install that and kind of attach yourself to the network. The challenge is that one is that it takes some amount of time, and this is actually true for any blockchain, to synchronize that node. And then once you have it synchronized, you need to make sure that it's kind of running 24/7, that it's getting upgraded, all those kind of operational things that have to be done whenever you're running a service. And so obviously by us providing that as a service, we kind of make it easier for folks to develop applications. So here, there's a very easy sign-up process. If you go to our website, there is a free access, across the testnet and mainnet for people that are just getting started. And once you get signed up, there's you'll get an API key. This is just a personal account that I have with an API key that allows you to access our service. And as an example, here's a set. If you're a developer, this would be familiar to you. This is a set of Swagger documentation that shows all of the different functions and all of the different APIs that you can call, when you're working, when you're building an Algorand-based application. And these are all, interactive here, so you can look and understand exactly kind of all the details around these APIs. We do also have a whole bunch of examples of how to get started and how to use our API service. So those are included in the application, as well as if you look here on our GitHub, you'll see that we have a whole number of examples that you can be used as starting points to get started if you want to build applications on top of the Algorand network. I was going to look here just at a specific one. So, for example, if you look here under these JavaScript examples, there's an example here of submitting a transaction. So, if you look here, this is just a small kind of code example here of how to interact with the Algorand network programmatically and how to send a transaction. So what I did is I did download this example to my computer. You can see it here in Visual Code. You should see this. This is kind of the example in question. And I'm not going to go through trying to explain any of this, but you can see here that this is connecting to the Algorand testnet, right? So there's a series of different networks in Algorand. There's a beta net, there's a testnet, and there's a mainnet. There's 3 main networks. Obviously, when you're kind of testing things and you're kind of developing your application, often you'll be working on the testnet where you can exercise kind of the functionality of your application, but not be dealing with like real value, as is the case on the Algorand mainnet. And then the point is here that that same key that I showed you before is kind of embedded here inside of this this program, right? So I've put this API key that we saw in the API services application inside of this example. So this key is kind of what identifies me and allows me to use the API service. And just as a simple example here. I'm just going to run, this simple program. All it does is it sends, a small transaction on the Algorand test network, and you can see here from the output that it worked, and it gave me this kind of transaction confirmation here, basically that is confirming that transaction was posted. So what I'll do at this point is let me head over to. Actually, let's do this. So if I scroll up here, there is a number of metrics that we're also kind of tracking, inside of this API services application. So here, for example, you can see that I've been doing some testing in preparation for this demo. You can see here that there's activity, on this API account. I just created another small bit of activity when I executed that last transaction. And if I flip over here now, so this is a different application that I mentioned called GoalSeeker. And what this is basically tools that would help you understand kind of what's happening on the Algorand network. So again, kind of the base network, is this powerful construct that allows you to create objects that have digital value and to transfer them around in a highly secure way. But as a developer or someone building an application, there are a set of other tools that you need to kind of understand kind of what's going on, to make it easier to kind of have visibility and to see what's happening on the network. So GoalSeeker is one of those tools. So if you look here, it gives you kind of a view of some statistics about the network, blocks that are happening on the network, recent transactions. I mean, these are all things that that you can see here from GoalSeeker. And so let's kind of flip to the testnet, which you can do up here. And as one example, we can just start taking a look here. So this is the payment transaction that I just sent from the other window. You can see here that it was a very small amount of algo, which is the native currency unit on the Algorand system. And it was between these two accounts. There's a number of other kind of objects and things that you can look at. If you're that are other details about the network. So as one example, one of the features that's getting used quite a bit is the asset functionality on Algorand. What that allows you to do is create your own digital assets, right? So you can create your own either currencies or other kind of digital tokens are going to represent things in the real world, or have other meaning for your application. This is just one test one that we've created here internally, and you can see that it has a name, and you can see the history of the transactions. We created it with a total supply of 10,000. This is kind of a very powerful function of Algorand that is seeing quite a bit of adoption across different teams that want to issue digital assets, but don't want to go and create their own blockchain. They now have a very easy way that they can do that. So we've been working with a number of folks that are building applications using this functionality. And these are some of the tools we built, but obviously there's other teams that are using our tools to build other applications and just using our service to kind of help make that simpler. I just pulled up one example here. This is a group that built a dashboard to help visualize one of the staking rewards programs that was launched, as part of, on the Algorand network. So this is a dashboard that kind of shows you key stats about this staking rewards program on Algorand. It has statistics. It has a bunch of different accounts and amounts. This was built using our API service, right? So as a developer, they could kind of focus on the front end visualization and building their application, and they left the kind of this back end node infrastructure they're using our services for that.